Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode of the Big Muslim Family Podcast. I'm your host, Brother Mark Adam, and I hope that wherever you are in the world, you are healthy and safe, inshallah. If you're new to the show, I would like to personally welcome you and thank you for being here, and we hope that you enjoy the content. In this week's episode, I speak with Brother Farman from Fiji. Those that have been keen listeners to the show will know that the inspiration for the whole podcast was because I met with a Muslim brother from Fiji sometime last year. So I really wanted to find another brother from Fiji to speak on the show. And after a bit of a search, I found Brother Farman, who was an admin of a Fiji Muslim Facebook group. And he said that he would be happy to help me out with the episode. So, if you've ever wondered what it's like to be a Muslim in Fiji, this is the podcast to find out. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I am very happy to bring a brother here all the way from the beautiful islands of Fiji, Brother Farman. Brother Farman, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. It's very lovely to see you here live on the video. Yeah, it's my pleasure to chat with a brother from Singapore. So, yeah, very pleased to, have this conversation.
Alhamdulillah. So, tell me a little bit, how did Islam get over to Fiji?
Yes, because we are right to the bottom of the south. So, right to the bottom is New Zealand. It's further south, but we are still just 3 hours flight from New Zealand. Just a small dot. A lot of people don't know where Fiji is till, we started to get popular in rugby. And so around 1800s, the British used to get slaves from India to go and work into, various countries. And then we are the descendants of that slaves that came from India.
Mashallah.
A system called grilled meat. That's what they, termed it as. So, the first ship arrived around 1860, around 1869 or something. So we are here from last 100 years. So we just celebrated, the 100 years being in Fiji. So they left us over here, the British, and they gave, few families option to go back to India. But because, a lot of families established themselves here. And so we've been here. So the Indian community, largely made up of Hindus and Muslims. So that's how the Muslim community, started from here. So Islam started, and then whatever they were able, our forefathers, whatever they were able to bring with them. So they still practiced Islam. And it's a very multiracial country here. So we have largely Christianity is the large denomination, but we have Hinduism and Islam. And there we have some, small community of Buddhists and Sikhs. So it's a very multiracial. And then we have a lot of people from around the Pacific, around the South Pacific that live in Fiji. So we have liberty to practice, everybody gets to practice their own religion. So Islam has been there, our forefathers, start. So it's a very strong religion, as you know. So they never let it go. They never let the rope go. They held on to it. And alhamdulillah, we are here very strong. All are very, good practicing Muslims. So that's basically a brief how Islam, landed in Fiji.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for that. That's, wow, I learned something already. I didn't know that they came over with the British. But alhamdulillah, it's amazing that they were able to keep with the deen and to bring, grow the religion and also to kind of stay. When did the British leave?
I'm not sure exactly when did they leave, but I think it's around we gained independence in 1970. So just before that, I think that was around that era. So it was 1970 we got independence. So it could be just a few years, before that.
And sorry, just to be clear, is it Fiji is a group of islands or is it just one big island?
No, we have about 333 islands.
Wow.
The big one, the two major ones, in Fiji, is called Biti Levu and Vanua Levu. So this is like a north and south island of New Zealand.
Oh,
so we
okay.
have the north and south island in New Zealand. We have the Biti Levu and Vanua Levu, and then we have small islands.
Right.
Some islands are just so small, you can run around the island in a minute. But those are, yeah. So it's all white sand beach all around. A lot of, economy has been tourism for some time
Yes,
now.
yes.
It's a beautiful place.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So this is what I want to ask you, like, what is it like growing up Muslim in your community? Like when you're a kid, do you mix around with different religions, or how does it work when you were growing up in school?
It's a very mixed country, and people don't really see your race or color. It's a very, like a one big family in Fiji. So yeah, and then everybody has freedom to practice their religion. There's no restrictions, and there's no from other race or any other religion or something. So we all grow up together, and it's a so. For example, we have a Muslim festival for Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha. So we share amongst the neighbors. We don't really see or if they belong to a different race or religion. And the same likewise when the Hindus have their festival of lights, like they say,
Right.
So they also come and share sweets and stuff with the other community, religion.
I see.
So growing up, they go to a school. We have a Muslim school here. In nearly every town, we have a big Muslim school.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have all different. It's not only for Muslims, but other kids can also come in. Other religion kids can come in and study in there. So you have a choice. You have a choice.
Oh, okay. Alhamdulillah. Well, that sounds really nice. I guess when I was growing up, I went to an international school, and you didn't really care about your religion or what race you were, as long as you could play football, or you could be, play sports or be on the same team, or if you're good at this. So, I mean, like, it sounds nice. I guess it's over there. It's if you could play rugby, then you're on my team.
Yeah, we have rugby and soccer and sports. They all mingle together, and you'll see. Yeah, rugby. It's one of the major sports. We won the Olympics, which was very big. The Olympics sevens. We had a holiday. The government gave us a holiday. Yeah, we celebrate.
Yeah.
Country, and we won the Olympics.
Don't mess with Fiji at in the sevens, man.
Yes.
That's very good. They're very good. Okay, I guess it's really easy to get halal food over there. Can you tell us about that? Because the one fact that really shocked me was that I found out that the chicken over there is mostly halal. So can you tell me about that?
Yes, there are two big companies that supply chicken to all over Fiji, and these are all local chickens. Both have been certified halal by our Muslim authority, which is called the Fiji Muslim League. So they certify it as halal. We have the section of in the Fiji Muslim League where they go and vet everything, and then they see the process, and then they're very strict. They're very strict in terms of certification of anything for halal. So the major company that supply chicken all over Fiji, two companies, and then both are certified halal. So you can go into virtually any supermarket and you'll see the packaging has a logo of Fiji Muslim League. Without that logo, that is not halal. So you'll have to have a seal of the Fiji Muslim League on the packaging itself. So you are very, comfortable in buying the chicken. Even in restaurants all around Fiji, most of them will use that chicken. So you can go into any restaurant and you'll be able to find that the chicken they use is halal chicken. Even in hotels, it's all local chicken that's been used. There's only very minimum, very minor portion of the chicken that is imported from New Zealand, but they're hardly used in, most of the resorts. They support the local products.
Mm-hmm.
So most of them, if you walk in, you know that there is two companies that supply halal chicken. If you know the name, you can just go into the restaurant and say which chicken you use. They'll tell you, I use this company or I use this company. So it's very easy to find halal chicken.
Subhanallah, that's amazing.
And then we have a lot of butchers, which is halal butchers, run by local Muslims. So you can go into the butcher shop, you'll find beef, which is halal, lamb, which is imported from New Zealand, and we have local lamb as well. You can go to the farm and they'll do halal for you and home kill and then pack and give it to you.
Oh,
So
alhamdulillah.
food
They
wise, you
do their
can,
home kill.
yes. If you know the contact, then you go to the farm, and then they'll do everything for you.
MashaAllah, that's amazing.
And
I
these are
mean,
all
here.
the local ones are all organic. They don't fertilize or chemicals or anything. So they just virtually run around in the farm eating grass, and these are grass that grows wild.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. That's amazing. And what is the diet over there in Fiji? What would be a typical diet? Is it mainly chicken, or is it meat, or is it seafood?
We surrounded by water. All. Or if you go Google Fiji,
Yep.
you'll see we're all surrounded. It's an island, so you'll find fish, which is abundance in supply. Seafood, any seafood that is halal, you'll find them on the in the seafood shop. Or chicken, fish, they're the major ones.
Okay.
Beef, yeah, you can get fresh from the butcher, and then these are nice ones. And even if you go to the farm, you'll find the home kill. You can pick and choose which one you want. And goat. So yeah, and then vegetables. There are a lot of vegetables. You name any vegetable, it's here, except the ones that grows probably in New Zealand in the winter countries. But our veggies are all organic. The fruits are all organic. So you'll find plenty of them.
Alhamdulillah. That sounds really good. Inshallah, we can do it. I might move there. You've sold me. I might move there. So, can you tell me, let's say, like things like, I guess with such a strong community, with things like, if people want to pray at work, the employer's understanding?
Usually, the Salah Fajr, you can pray at home, and then the Zohar. That's the time when most of the employees have their lunch hour break. So,
okay.
The lunch hour is usually 12:30 to 1:30, and some of them, they get it from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So it's easy for them to have their Salah at work, or if they are, like I said, most of our towns in Fiji have a mosque. So if you're working in town, you can walk to the mosque and have your Salah and then come back to work. So there's no restriction that you cannot have your Salah. It's there. It's just,
Alhamdulillah. And so what about, I guess, Friday prayers?
They get leave from work, Friday prayers. They get leave from work.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And I think I've been asking also, do you get problems with double parking on the roads from Friday prayers?
Parking, I haven't seen any problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All the mosques have a lot of parking in the open ground.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. That's more of a personal thing, because everywhere I go, there's problems with parking or double parking at the.
Yes.
But let me ask. So, what about sisters? Are they able to wear hijab at the workplace or at school? Is there any restrictions on that?
Not at all. They can wear hijab. They can also decide not to wear it. So there is no restriction.
Okay.
But to work purpose, no problem. They can wear hijab, go to work, go to school. All our Muslim school kids, they wear hijab, go to school. And the non-Muslim that comes to the Muslim school, they are not forced to wear hijab. So if it's a Christian, girl who wants to come to the Muslim school, they can wear the uniform without hijab. So there's no restriction for them.
Wow. Okay. Alhamdulillah. That's good to hear. So can you tell us, if you know, are there any converts in Fiji? I mean, from the local population?
Yes. We have a lot of them. A lot of them have converted to Islam. Even our local native Fijians have converted to Islam. They have attended. We have, madrasa here in Fiji as well, where the kids go and learn. Yeah. So a lot of kids have gone to that madrasa. They have become, alim, and then some have become, they memorize the Quran, and some have become priests. So
some have become priests.
Yes, Muslim.
Oh, imams there. Yeah, so.
Okay. Imams, yeah.
Okay. So. All right. Okay, so you had me worried there for a second. Okay. So, alhamdulillah. Okay, that's interesting. I would like to meet one day, inshallah. So tell us about let's move on to the celebrations. I think we kind of touched upon it a little bit before, but what's Ramadan like in Fiji?
We, it's probably the same as anywhere in the world. The process is the same, it doesn't change. what is done in 1400 years ago, what the Prophet taught us is the same, except I think the few changes during iftar. We have it at the mosque, and then every mosque will have a iftar session to break the fast. So, and then one day we have a brother who will sponsor the whole iftar. So you just take yourself to the mosque and everything is ready for you. So you break the fast and the dinner is provided, then you have a salah. And so every day there is somebody will sponsor that particular break fast.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So do you have any like night markets or things like that happen?
We have like a general night market. Anybody can go there, but not specifically for Muslims. So we have some, like everybody can go in there.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so what about Eid? What like say for your family, what do you do on Eid?
Eid is basically visiting, relatives, and the relatives visit your place. You go out there, share the sweets, mingle, because 30 days you are limited to your house and mosque, So after that, you want to go see them, visit them, and share the hard work that you have done during that 30 days.
And do you visit a lot of families, or do people visit a lot of their families and extended families during Eid?
It is family atmosphere, so everybody gets together at one particular relative's house. So they all, like, if the kids are staying away from the father or something like that, so the sons and the daughters would get to the father's house. So it brings them together. So it's one of the thing that brings all the relatives together.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So okay, so tell me about, you're talking about the masjids that are around, and do you have a rough number of how many masjids there are in the Fiji Islands?
Basically, it's in every town. So you can go to any town and you'll find masjid there.
Alhamdulillah. That's good. That's good.
Yes.
And how are they? They were just built as masjids? They weren't like houses that were converted into masjids?
No, just pure masjid. It started from scratch, from bare land to masjid.
Awesome. Because there's some people that I've interviewed where in their country that what's happened is that they have been converting houses or previous buildings, or even in America they were converting. There's a place they were converting churches into masjids. So that's just why I asked.
That will bring a lot of friction, when you do that. So I think we're lucky. We're not doing that. We find we can learn and start from scratch.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so then tell me, which one is your favorite?
Well, it's in my town where I live in Nandi. We have, in Nandi we have one of the biggest masjid. Then in my village we have a masjid. So there, like in the town itself, there is a masjid. So Nandi is like a district, and then in the district itself we have a lot of smaller masjid. So these are people that stay in a village. So like where I stay, we have a masjid in my village.
Okay.
But because the main town, it has a big masjid, so I go there. That's one of my favorite place.
I see. And other than being like in your town, what like if I was a visitor, what would you kind of like point out to me or about the particular masjid? Is there anything that stands out?
Well, I think most of the masjid that you'll find India, Pakistan, the particular design, you'll find the similar in Fiji, because we are brought from India, so we still have that mindset of the architecture of India and Pakistan. So it's a similar architecture.
So let's go on to one of my favorite topics, and that is about food. Okay, so can you tell me, like, what kind of cuisine would you recommend that I try in Fiji?
Native Fijian way of cooking. So over here we call it lovo. That's the native Fijian word.
Lovo.
It's a lovo. So lovo is a earth oven. So for example, chicken, the whole chicken you can marinate. Lamb you can marinate, put it in wrap it around in coconut leaf, or do it a little bit modern. You can put aluminum foil all around it. And then you marinate the whole chicken and, put whichever flavor you like.
Okay.
And then there's an earth oven. You dig up a hole, you heat up the stones. These rocks like a kg, like sort of that big, and
Okay.
then they're like about, if it's a small oven, you put like about 10, 15 stones and heat it up. So, you light firewood on top of it, let the stone get heated up, remove the charcoal and the firewood out of that, and you put all your, chicken, your, lamb, everything inside the oven, cover it up, and then, put soil on top of it and let it cook itself inside the oven.
Wow.
So usually about 2 hours, it should be ready.
Okay. That's interesting. And then, so do you know what are kind of the spices that they use?
We have, see, the traditional Fijian, the cooking, they don't really put any spices or raw. Everything is like sort of raw. Even the chicken, like if you don't marinate, like if you go to a native Fijian village, they don't really try to marinate it. But because our, taste is different, we ask for spices, we ask for sauce, a different sauce. So we marinate it and then we use it.
Okay.
So it depends on which spice you like, you can use that.
I see. And so what do you eat it with? Do you usually have anything to pair it up with?
Yes, the root crops here. The root crops, I mean, you probably know cassava, yams, marrow. So you can also put that in that oven and it will cook by the heat from the stones.
Okay. So it's very, I wouldn't say it's basic, but I mean, because the produce is so fresh and organic that the flavors themselves come out from the ingredients themselves.
Yeah. If you marinate it with a little bit, spices and stuff, the taste will really change. So, without spices, that was done like, in the old ages. Because at that time there wasn't any spices around, So as the world progressed, we have now spices, so we can really change the taste of the food.
Yeah. So how would you? Okay, let's say that I would come over there. How do we get this kind of thing set up? Like, do I have to be invited over to someone's house, or is there a service that they can do this?
Most resorts, large resorts, they do that. And there's actually it's like an activity where the tourists will go and sit and watch how the locals cook that. So you get to watch it, and you stay hungry for 2 hours, and then you can eat it.
Yeah. So don't go there when you're very hungry.
No. Yeah.
And,
if you mingle with a local, if you get to know local, most of the local, they're very friendly people, so they'll take to your house, and then if you ask them to say, hey, I want to eat lovo, so they'll take you to their houses, and then, it's just a good gesture, give them some money to say, hey, I want to eat, I want to see how it is done. So, just, with $100, you'll be able to get like 3-4 chickens and the root crops. So your $100 budget, will get you a feast.
Yeah. And so is it Fiji? Sorry, is Fiji is noted as a land of smiles, or is it I believe that the culture there is very friendly.
It is friendly. Our slogan is just that, some political thing happened at some time, but otherwise we were known Fiji the way the world should be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Well, it sounds like it. I really like this melting pot and in paradise, and no traffic problems on Friday afternoons for Juba. So, Alhamdulillah, it sounds really amazing. But let's say that I came in, I met up with you, Brother Farman, and you said, okay, I want to take you somewhere to eat. Okay, so where would you take me?
If you are used to the food that you eat in the modern food, so you'll find it's there in the resorts, in the restaurants, you'll find that. The only thing that you'll probably, even the Chinese food that, they cook over here, the locals are able to cook Chinese food, you'll find that the taste is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. They use the local spices. The local spices change the taste of the food. So what you taste like a Chinese meal you'll taste in Singapore will be different over here. Just the taste, way of cooking and everything will be the same.
Okay.
The spices just changes the food. So, definitely then, you want to taste the local style of cooking.
I
So
see.
then I have to take you to a local restaurant where they cook the local.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on. So, what are some of the places that are good to see over there? I wouldn't say, we won't talk about resorts, but, places that you would recommend or highlights to go visit. Where would you recommend?
Most of the small islands have resorts on them. So that's, one of the places that you want to do. It was the west of Nandi, which is, scattered with small islands. And these are, like I said, you can run around a few of the islands in a minute, or you can walk around them like in 2 minutes. And they have small resorts on them. They have, water activities, and you just see it's pristine, crystal clear waters. You can see the reef, go snorkeling. And then the highlands, you go to traditional Fijian villages where they have houses still made out of grass. They have, thatched roof, and bamboos being used on the walls.
Wow.
So those kind of things that you don't see in Singapore, probably that's what you want to see over here. And then the local waterfalls and hot springs.
Wow. So these are some of the places that are not so touristy that you recommend?
Well, most of the tourists want to come and see local people. So you have to go to local villages, because the native Fijian, they stay in like a village. They all have about 50 or 100 of them in a, one area. So they have, you can go and see their local way of life, how they've been, surviving in that particular area, without, some will have no electricity, no water. So they go to the creeks. They have, different, there's no electricity in those villages. So they survive on the local knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, so for some places that I've talked to, in their city, they have maybe like a street or a block that is all Muslims places. So in Fiji, is it a general mix, like you're mixed in with everyone else, or is it like a small, like this town is particularly Muslim, or this center or this street? What is it like in Fiji?
We are general fruit salad, man. You won't find like a particular area where only Muslims live. No.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, that's nice. That's nice to know that. Alhamdulillah, that sounds really good. So let me ask you, what do you feel that makes Islam in Fiji so unique from other countries?
We are islanders, we are born here, so we get used to the island way of life. So we are totally different from, I think, the rest of the world, the way the Muslims are in Fiji. So our way of thinking is different. You won't find that, we are that aggressive. We are more friendly and, accommodating. It's just our way of thinking is different from probably the rest of the Muslim countries. Even though we follow the teachings of Islam, the way our Prophet, taught us, we follow everything what Islam teaches. It's just the way how we interact with people, I think, is different from probably the other place, because we are so much, intermixing with people of different race and religion. We, respect them. We, treat them as like they are, one of us. And then we respect what they do. They respect what we do. So it's a very, harmonious way that we live here.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, which country would you like to know more about Islam?
Well, I think Islam is spread all over the world. And I think Islam is, all over the world is same. It's just that, there are a lot of countries, So, if I go to, even, if I get a chance to go to any country, I would definitely want to know how the, Muslim way of life is there. Yeah. It's not something that is, I'm very particular that I want to know about that particular country. Mm-hmm. Because I know if I go to Singapore, Malaysia, or, towards Russia or anywhere, Islam will be the same.
Yeah, so alhamdulillah, that's the good thing about Islam, is that we can just go travel somewhere and just find the masajid, and then we just pray with everyone else, and we also know what we're praying. So I think that's a very beautiful thing as well. Okay, so lastly, the last question is, what's your favorite thing or memory about Islam in your country?
I think we're very lucky that born in a Muslim family, and my forefathers, they held on to the rope of Islam very strongly. They brought us up in a Islamic way, which is very beautiful. Because I mingle with a lot of my Christian friends, my Hindu friends. Even we have intermarriages in amongst Muslims, Hindus, and Christians. Despite all that, I'm lucky to have Islam as my religion. I think there's no bigger memory to hold on to than being born in as a Muslim.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, thank you so much, Brother Farman. It's been a pleasure. I was very excited to come on here and talk to you about Fiji. And alhamdulillah, I've learned so much. And thank you for taking time out and joining me on the podcast. And is there any last words that you'd like to say?
Yes, all my Muslim brothers and sisters out there, watching from anywhere in the world, if you get a chance to come to Fiji, this is one of the country which is called as paradise on earth. So you want to come and check out if you have an opportunity, to visit, if you have a dream to travel, you'll definitely, once you arrive in Fiji, you will not want to leave from this country. And this is not from my saying, it's just that, a lot of people that I've made friends over from Australia, from New Zealand, from US, they've, traveled to Fiji and they don't want to go back. So, yes, if you get an opportunity, please come to Fiji. It's a, very safe place. You won't find, crimes that happens, other parts of the world. We have no guns in the country where you get scared to say that somebody might shoot you. Even our cops have no guns except the military. That's, generally we are very safe. You can go into Google and search about Fiji and read reviews on, the travel blog sites and stuff. So, yes, this is one of the safest place. Right now, the coronavirus is going on. We have no community coronavirus in Fiji. It's just that they got caught at the border when they arrived from overseas. So they are in quarantine. So we are roaming around freely in towns and villages with no mask on us. And we still maintain, a little bit caution about, the distance but in community, we have no coronavirus.
Alhamdulillah. That's amazing.
That's all, brother. Thank you very much. And hope to see you in Fiji once the, border opens up.
Inshallah. Well, I'm sold. So I'll be over there, inshallah, soon. Okay, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you again. Take care and we'll keep in touch. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Subhanallah. Doesn't Fiji sound like a fantastic place? It's definitely on my bucket list of places to visit in the future once all this COVID thing is over, inshallah. So I hope that you've enjoyed learning about Islam in Fiji and the things to do there. So, what did you find interesting about the episode? Let us know on our Facebook or Instagram page. You can go to facebook.com/Big Muslim Family, or you can go to Instagram. It's @Big Muslim Family. On the next episode, we will be speaking with Brother Daniel from South Africa, who will be sharing with us his journey back to Islam. Brother Daniel came from a religious family and was at one time a deacon at his church. So it was an amazing interview to record. So make sure you catch it and subscribe to the podcast. And I just want to say a big thank you for all you brothers and sisters for joining us. And I'll see you in the next episode, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.